Good morning. So I'd like to bring up to the stage our two panelists for this first panel. We have Priyanka Rout, our Associate Director for University Career Services here at the University of Houston, and Neri, I forgot your last name. Mazarios. Neri Mazarios from Masterword. And so if y'all would like to come on up, I'm going to sit down with y'all, and we're going to have a quick conversation about this. So Priyanka and Neri, I'd love if y'all could introduce yourselves a little bit before we get started with the conversation and what kind of org you're representing.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Priyanka Rout, and I serve as the Associate Director for University Career Services. I'm happy to be here to share my perspective from the career counseling world, how you can use these skills in your job search and in your career planning process, and also share some insights from me being an international student, growing up learning 5 languages, and how it helped me broaden my skill set to be a better person and a professional.
Wonderful, thank you. Neri?
Awesome. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Neri Mazarios, and I am the Head of Talent Acquisition at Masterword. We are a Houston-based language services provider with a very unique connection to the University of Houston, which I will share with you all a little later. I'm also a certified healthcare interpreter, Spanish to English, and I have been with Masterword for under 9 years. And I am excited to be sharing with you all some of the great opportunities that are out there for those of you who may be multilingual, bilingual. There is a plethora of opportunities for you, not besides yours just interpreting or translating.
Wonderful. And then let's talk to all of you in the audience real quick. So with a raise of hands, how many of you are multilingual? Bonjour, buenos dias, hi y'all. I love this. This is a great representation of why we're having this conversation today. So students, what I'm wanting you to get out of today is to listen to why your multilingualism really matters, all of your languages that you speak. And so Priyanka, I'd love to start with you on why is being multilingual or speaking another language other than English actually a superpower for students as they go throughout their academic career and go on to graduate and enter the global workforce?
Absolutely. So I'll share from the careers perspective and then also from soft skill development perspective. As careers, when you search for jobs, you'll see so many jobs require bilingual people who speak more than one language. That's because you are adding value to that organization because you can help them connect with a wider clientele. Right? You can help them get into markets, maybe global, national, and international, where it would be hard for them to reach because they do not speak the local language or because they have not communicated with someone from a different culture. So your ability to speak that language is very, very important when it comes to your career. As far as your self-development is concerned, when you speak more than one language or when you're studying a language, it helps you to enhance your communication skills because you're listening, you're paying attention, which is a rare skill these days. People just keep moving, nobody wants to read things. So you do bring in that enhanced communication skill. You also bring that awareness and openness to accept another culture and be willing to learn something new. So again, that ability to embrace another culture. I would also say that learning language can also help you kind of network more because now your circle of networking, whether with employers or people, has increased beyond people who speak only English. And with Houston being the hub of oil and gas, we have people from all over the world who live and work here. And so if at any point you want to consider working abroad or in another country, this is your opportunity. If you are an international student and you have limitations of working here in the US, consider going to another country for which you speak the language and starting up your career over there and then coming back. So these are just some examples.
I love that. Priyanka, I've had a lot of students tell me that they don't raise their hand when I ask if they speak another language because they assume it's not Spanish, it's not Mandarin Chinese, it's not Arabic. So why does my what is it?
Harari.
Harari. Why does Harari matter? I'm working with a student who speaks Harari right now. Yes, and so they didn't initially raise their hand, or students like that maybe don't initially raise their hands because speaking another language like that might not matter. So how does speaking a different language, how do we put that into our career search in a way that although Harari, for example, is not super used in the careers, where do we put it? How do we use it? What do we do with it? And then how can University Career Services help us?
Absolutely. So
Take notes, y'all.
So any language that you learn, it's very important, the first thing, that you feel proud about it. No matter which language you speak, you need to own it and you need to feel proud about it, because you have to advocate for yourself and you have to make that language known to other people if they don't speak it. And you might be surprised. There might be someone who is actually looking for someone who's speaking Harari.
Yes.
Or Hindi, or Japanese, or German. So embrace that language that you're speaking, include it on your resume, create a separate section for languages. Also highlight it by including it in your objective. The top half of your resume, when you open your statement, your summary, include the language that you speak in that section. You could also, if you're applying for a job, let's say a translator job or an interpreter job, try to see what skills you have that are similar and include those language skills on your resume. So whether you have done an assignment, whether you've done a project, whether it was just at a local community event where you helped with interpretation or translation, do not underestimate the value of using those language skills in any life situation. So make sure that all that shows on your resume, because if you do not put it on your resume, nobody's going to know about it. If you do not talk about it, nobody is going to know about it. So I would say that I grew up speaking German and Japanese and Hindi and Marathi and English. I don't use half of those languages now, but they're still on my resume because I put in a lot of my time and effort into learning them. So at some point, if somebody sees that on my resume and thinks I might be of some help, it's an opportunity for me to practice that language. So those are, I would say, some ways to incorporate language on your resume.
I love that. And so we'll come back to you in a minute, Priyanka, about what University Career Services can offer students. But Neri, I want to start with just why is language a superpower for working in the global workforce?
Well, I think it's a great question, and I'm going to piggyback off of something Priyanka said. Actually, she used the word connection. So it's actually in our slogan, we connect people across language and culture. So I want you to also understand that being multilingual and bilingual, obviously it's great for communication, we represent, our clients are in the medical center, city of Houston, state of Texas, so these are very important meetings going on. But we're also cultural brokers. So we don't just share the language. There are a lot of cultural nuances that only someone who's well-versed in both the language and the culture can share, right? So for example, I'll give you a quick example. When handing over a business card in certain languages, the appropriate respectful thing is to give it with two hands. And as we receive it, we respectfully and carefully read every line in the card. We don't just put it in our pocket, right? That is being culturally aware, sensitive, and respectful. These are the kind of things that our linguists bring to the table every day. It's a superpower.
I know, it really is. So Neri's from Masterword, so would you give us a brief history of the organization?
Yeah. So Masterword, we are in our 31st year, and Masterword was founded 31 years ago, 1993, right here at the University of Houston. So behind me, you'll see our founder, our CEO and president, Mila Golovin. She was actually part of the very first graduating class at the Wolf Center for Entrepreneurship. And I'm going to share the story real quick because this is very pertinent. Mila had one credit remaining in order to graduate from the University of Houston. And it was just enough for an elective. So she stumbled across, she says, a class that she didn't know what the word entrepreneurship meant. And so she just took it because it fit her schedule. Well, it really did change the course of both her life, but also the lives of hundreds of thousands of people, because she went on to found Masterword. And essentially, it was a homework assignment. So all the students out there, so don't frown upon any homework assignments because you don't know where it can lead. But essentially, her job at the Wolf Center was to come up with a business plan for a creative new business idea. And she is a native Russian speaker. So she figured what better way of using what I know, my culture, my language, to create a business plan for providing language services. And upon submitting, part of the homework was actually submitting it to a real company. To her surprise, they accepted her proposal and hired her. That was not part of the homework assignment. Well, she will tell you that 31 years later, she's still working on her homework assignment.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. So Neri, can you talk about careers in translation and what they look like at Masterworld or in that kind of sphere of employment?
Absolutely. So there are many, but let's start with the most obvious. So for those of you who may not know, there is a difference between written word translation, right, and interpretations. A lot of times you hear, oh, he's a translator, she's a translator. Well, translation is written word. Interpretation is spoken, so there is a clear distinction. But there is a lot of room for growth. So behind me is a chart that will show you what we expect gross volume in dollars of what the language services industry is today and what we expect it to go. So $72 billion a year is the value of the language services industry, which all of you can become a part of. And it goes way beyond just interpreting and translating. In the next slide, actually, I can share with you some of the careers. So I figured we would give you guys a graphic where you can actually visualize or attempt to visualize the different pathways there are to using your language skills.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, so I'll give you an example. At Masterword, I started as a recruiter. Later, I became a certified healthcare interpreter. Every day I get to work with sales professionals, professional translators, desktop publishers, editors, proofreaders. We have an amazing sales team. We have accountants. There are so many opportunities within the industry. And the higher you go up, the more you can see that there are opportunities for everyone across different sectors or fields, what have you.
Yeah, I definitely know I use multiple languages in my work, and I love being able to do that. Can you answer, because we're going to continue on for time, and then I'll come. What is, I guess, a recommendation for students who speak other languages, but they're not sure how it might apply to their career field that they're looking at?
I can tell you that you should always, is exactly what Priyanka said, mention your language in your resume. Many a times I'll look at a resume and I don't see a language on there. So for what I need, I always want to see what languages you speak. Because, for example, this City of Houston, we speak over 180 languages officially. Unofficially, it's well over 300 because many dialects are not included in that count. So I can tell you that there is a need. For me specifically, because we work with so many different sectors from government, private sector, that I can certainly use language skills, but it is really important that you take pride, exactly what Priyanka said. Take pride in your language, use it, develop it, and share it, right? Share it, make sure that it's in your resume, it's in your LinkedIn profile, because there are people like me, I promise you, that are constantly on LinkedIn looking for unique language skills.
I love that. And I think a lot of our professors would tell students here today that showing that you can speak another language shows that you have the ability to learn and that you have that propensity to be open-minded to that. Priyanka, I'm going to ask you one last question and then we'll wrap up. How can students get help to do all of this? What is University Career Services here for?
Absolutely. So if you are not sure how to include those skills on your resume, schedule an appointment with University Career Services. When you log into your Access UH, you will be able to see a Cougar Pathway symbol. Click on that to schedule your appointment, meet one-on-one with a career counselor. If you're not able to schedule an appointment, we also have virtual drop-in hours today from 1 to 3 p.m. and then Tuesdays and Thursdays in person in our office from 1 to 3 p.m. How many of you know where Career Services is? Thank you, Dean Tart. Okay, so we are located in a small building right across from E-Cullen. It's called Student Service Center 1, and we're on the first floor. CAPS used to be on the second floor of that building. So please come to our office, use our services. You do pay for these services through your student fees. So please do not wait till you graduate and then pay someone hundreds of dollars to do the same thing that we can do for you right now. So please come to our office. We also have workshops. I have a table back there. We're going to do a presentation on global resumes, so how to include your study abroad experience, your language skills on your resume. That's going to be on October 4th. So come engage with our office. We have career fairs. We have a big career fair happening on October 14th, I believe. So don't think that I don't have anything. Come to the fair. Talk to the recruiters. If you do not talk, you will not know what's out there. So don't be afraid. Start engaging with our services. We can also help you with your resume, your cover letter. If you want to prepare for an interview, we can do mock interviews as well.
Well, thank you so much, Priyanka and Neri. This was very helpful. Neri and Masterword have a table in the back with their information and all of the information to see what it might take to be an interpreter or a translator. And Priyanka has a table for career services. Again, I'll plug that global resume workshop because I'll be co-leading that this Friday at noon virtually. So you can just log in from your phone. And just thank you all so much for this.
Thank you.
Thank you.